Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Cyclist shot and killed in Anchovy, St. James. A male cyclist was shot and killed in Anchovy, St. James yesterday evening. Reports are that shortly after 5:30 p.m., the now deceased was riding a bicycle along a section of the Anchovy Main Road when he was ambushed and shot. The man, who the police have not yet identified, died on the spot. A team from the Anchovy police station are carrying out investigation into this latest murder. Goat thief killed by mob in St. Anne. The St. Anne's Bay police are investigating the mob killing of a man in Alderton District, Claremont in the parish on Wednesday. Dead is 28-year-old Tevin Pinnock, otherwise called Shatty, a laborer of Bramble in St. Thomas and Windward Road, Kingston 2. Reports from the St. Anne's Bay police are that about 7 p.m., lawmen were summoned to a scene where a man was allegedly mobbed after he tried stealing goats. Upon their arrival, Pinnock was seen with multiple chop wounds all over his body. The female that accompanied him was arrested and taken into custody. Investigations continue. Mentally ill man in custody following arson attack at Manchester supermarket. A mentally ill man who is suspected to have set ablaze a supermarket in Christiana, Manchester on Wednesday is now in police custody and receiving treatment. Eyewitnesses say the man was seen lighting a fire near the bag room attached to the front of the building. Deputy Superintendent at the Mandeville Fire Station, Ron Powell, said a call was received at the Christiana Fire Station approximately 2:20 a.m. He said the fire, which started in the bag room, spread to the interior of the supermarket but was quickly contained. The estimated loss, he said, is $300,000. No one was injured. One business operator in the area, Lennox Powell, said there is unease within the business community stemming from the incident. Normally, most people in Christiana try to treat people of unsound mind good. We try to feed them if they are hungry, give them a biscuit and a juice or $100, he said. Powell said this is a key in helping to avoid any instance a mentally ill person may act violently as a result of perceived ill treatment. Some business persons don't understand that sometimes the best way to deal with them is not to use aggression. Understand that they are not well and treat them accordingly. We know many of them by name and we talk with them so they understand. We try to treat them with as much respect as possible and we generally don't have any issues, Powell stated. Cops probe gun attack outside popular St. Anne nightclub. Police are probing a gun attack outside a popular nightclub in Ochara, St. Anne on Tuesday morning. It was reported that a patron who had just exited the club narrowly escaped death when his vehicle was sprayed with bullets by gunmen who later fled the area. Information reaching the reporter was that about 4:10 a.m., the man left the club and sat in his silver Toyota Axio motor car when a white station wagon drove up. It was reported that two men alighted with handguns and fired numerous bullets at the Axio, damaging the bonnet and windscreen. The men then fled. Police were quickly on the scene and while processing the area, found several spent casings. $8 million stolen in Mandeville armed robbery. Police have confirmed that $8 million was stolen after gunmen held up and robbed a remittance outlet on Manchester Road in Mandeville Thursday morning. A police source confirmed that the robbery happened about 9:30 a.m. Reports are that the gunmen entered the remittance center located close to Mandeville Town Center and held up the establishment, demanding access to cash. They then escaped with the cash. The police are investigating the incident. 14 people charged in relation to multi-million-dollar fraud at Seprod. 14 people have been charged in relation to a multi-million-dollar fraud at Seprod group of companies. Nearly $160 million was reportedly stolen between October 2021 and May last year. Deputy Commissioner of Police DCP in charge of Crime and Security Portfolio Fitz Bailey made the disclosure during a press briefing yesterday afternoon. He said the alleged fraud involved Seprod employees. DCP Bailey said police operations were carried out in Clarendon, St. Catherine and the corporate area between Wednesday and Thursday, and 17 suspects were arrested. 14 of them were later charged. DCP Bailey said the charges laid include embezzlement, conspiracy to defraud at common law, and conspiracy to engage in a transaction involving criminal property. Those charged will appear in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on May 22nd. Meantime, DCP Bailey is appealing to the other 9 persons of interest in relation to the fraud to come forward.
The investigation discovered that 2 IT employees manipulated the computer system to facilitate 24 other employees, and those are route sales driver and assistants, who participated in the fraud by collecting goods from separate group of company warehouse on behalf of van sales department and subsequently sold the goods and kept the proceeds. This occurred on several occasions over the period of October 2021 and May 2022. They are Alton Roosevelt Sutherland. He is 52 years old and a sales rep. Rayan Omar McLean is 35 years old and he's a truck driver. Philip Jerome Binns, 31 years old. He's a sales system administrator. Leighton Ibert, 42 years old. He's a truck driver. Rolando Brivet, 46 years old. He's a truck driver. Kamini Roberts Campbell, 33 years old. Sales assistant. O'Shane Chedwin Grant, 27 years old. Truck driver. Sean Day Jermaine Watt, 26 years old. Sales assistant. Oral O'Neill Fraser, 42 years old, truck driver. Giovanni O'Dane Johnson, 30 years old, sales assistant. Dwight Ailes, 36 years old, sales executive. Sean Connery Sr., 52 years old, truck driver. Maishan Richards, 34 years old, sales representative. Jason Grant, 41 years old, sales system administrator. Neville Whitaker Jr., 40 years old. He's also a sales assistant. Kirk Ricketts, 42 years old, truck driver. Kenord Tennant, 31 years old, sales assistant. Mr. Glendon Mitchell, he's a 4 Panside Drive, 8 Mile Bull Bay, St. Andrew. Mr. Adrian Nelson, the last address for him is 40 Mercury Close, Kitson Town, Spanish Town, St. Catherine. Mr. Renard Bent, last known address, Pansiana Grove, that's 1 Pansiana Grove, Kingston 19. Mr. Carlington Reed, last known address, lot 5557 East, Greater Portmore, St. Catherine. Mr. Maynard Anderson, he is of West Avenue, Central Village, Spanish Town, St. Catherine. Mr. Ramon Bailey, his last known address is 714 Tercel Way, Waterford, St. Catherine. Mr. Andre Green, last known address, lot 127 Leslie Close, Spanish Town, St. Catherine. Mr. Patrick Was, and his address is 186 Brunswick Avenue, Spanish Town, St. Catherine. And finally, Dwight Campbell, 16 to 18 Vereen Avenue, Kingston 10. These persons need to turn themselves into the police for questioning in relation to this matter.
St. Elizabeth woman pleads guilty to ganja charges. A 39-year-old farmer, Nicola Wilson, of Burn Savannah in St. Elizabeth pleaded guilty to the charges of possession of ganja, dealing in ganja and trafficking ganja when she appeared in the Port Antonio Parish Court on Tuesday. Wilson, along with Jordan Brown, a 19-year-old construction worker of Burn Savannah, St. Elizabeth, Gary Rogers, a 44-year-old taxi operator of Burn Savannah in St. Elizabeth, and a 17-year-old girl of Lioneltown, Clarendon, were joined to charge on April 8 following a high-speed vehicle chase with the police in Port Antonio. Prosecutors claimed that all 4 persons were aboard a Toyota Vaxi minibus, which sped away after the driver was signaled to stop along the North Hall Main Road on April 8. The chase which ensued ended on Stony Hill Road, where 2 parts of ganja were discovered in the vehicle. In court on Tuesday, Wilson pleaded guilty on all counts and was fined $15,000 or 30 days imprisonment for possession of ganja, $32,000 or 60 days imprisonment for dealing in ganja, and $38,000 or 60 days imprisonment for trafficking ganja. The sentences are to run concurrently if the fines are not paid. The matters against the other parties were withdrawn. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell.